Have you ever felt like your mind is stuck on a loop of worry, as if a constant alarm is ringing in your brain, but you can't find the off switch? You're not alone. Anxiety disorders affect millions of people worldwide, and the science behind them is fascinating, and more importantly, something we can all understand. Today, we'll break down the brain's role in anxiety, what's really happening in your body when you feel anxious, and how this knowledge can help you take control. Let's take a journey into the human mind and uncover the simple science behind anxiety disorders. 1. What is anxiety? The basics. Before diving into the science, let's start with what anxiety really is. Anxiety is that uneasy feeling of worry or fear, often about something that might happen in the future. It's a normal reaction to stress, and everyone feels it at some point, like before a big test, a job interview, or public speaking. But for some people, anxiety becomes more than just a passing feeling. It sticks around and starts to interfere with everyday life. That's when it might be considered an anxiety disorder. There are different types of anxiety disorders, like generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, social anxiety disorder, and panic disorder, but they all have one thing in common. The brain is sending out warning signals, even when there's no real danger. 2. The brain and anxiety. What's going on? At the heart of anxiety is the brain, specifically a small part called the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your brain's security system. Its job is to detect threats and kickstart your body's fight or flight response. This system was really useful for our ancestors, who had to worry about physical dangers like wild animals. But today, the amygdala can trigger anxiety even in situations where there's no physical danger, like speaking in front of a crowd or dealing with work stress. When the amygdala senses a threat, it sends a message to another part of the brain called the hypothalamus. This tiny command center tells your body to release stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones make your heart race, your palms sweat, and your muscles tense up, preparing you to either fight the threat or run away from it. In a real emergency, this response is super helpful. But if your brain is constantly sounding the alarm when there's no real danger, it leads to chronic anxiety. 3. Why some people are more prone to anxiety. You might be wondering, why do some people experience anxiety more than others? Well, it turns out there are a few reasons. 1. Genetics. Anxiety disorders can run in families. If your parents or grandparents struggled with anxiety, you might have inherited a higher likelihood of experiencing it too. 2. Brain chemistry. Sometimes anxiety is linked to imbalances in certain chemicals in the brain, like serotonin and dopamine. These chemicals help regulate mood, and when they're out of balance, it can lead to feelings of anxiety. 3. Life experiences. Traumatic or stressful events, especially in childhood, can make someone more prone to anxiety. Our brains remember past experiences, and sometimes they can misinterpret new situations as dangerous based on those memories. 4. Personality. Some people are naturally more sensitive or have a worrying personality. They might overthink situations and get stuck in a cycle of worry, which can fuel anxiety. Understanding these factors helps to remind us that anxiety isn't just about worrying too much. It's deeply rooted in our biology and personal history. 4. Common types of anxiety disorders. Let's take a closer look at some of the most common anxiety disorders and how they differ from one another. Generalized anxiety disorder, GAD. GAD is characterized by constant worry about a wide range of things: work, health, finances, family, and more. People with GAD often struggle to control their worry, and it may feel like there's always something new to be anxious about. The worry becomes overwhelming and makes it hard to relax. Panic disorder. Panic disorder involves sudden, intense periods of fear known as panic attacks. During a panic attack, you might feel like you're losing control, having a heart attack, or even dying. Panic attacks can be incredibly frightening, but they aren't life-threatening. However, the fear of having another panic attack can create more anxiety, trapping people in a vicious cycle. Social anxiety disorder. People with social anxiety disorder have an intense fear of being judged or embarrassed in social situations. This can make everyday activities like eating in public, speaking in a meeting, or attending parties feel unbearable. The fear of social interaction often leads to avoidance, which can limit a person's life significantly. Phobias. A phobia is an intense, irrational fear of a specific object or situation, like spiders, arachnophobia, heights, acrophobia, or flying, aviophobia. While many of us have things we don't like, people with phobias go out of their way to avoid their fear, which can disrupt their lives. 5. How anxiety affects the body. When anxiety strikes, it's not just your mind that's affected. Your body reacts too. Anxiety activates the sympathetic nervous system, which controls your body's stress response. Here's what happens to your body during anxiety. 1. Heart rate increases. Your heart starts beating faster, pumping more blood to your muscles, getting you ready for action. 2. Breathing quickens. Your body tries to take in more oxygen to prepare for a fight or flight response. This can sometimes make you feel short of breath or dizzy. 3. Muscles tense up. Your muscles tighten as your body prepares for action. This can lead to tension headaches, back pain, and muscle stiffness if anxiety becomes chronic. 4. Stomach problems. Ever had butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous? That's anxiety at work. It can cause nausea, upset stomach, or even irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, in some people. Understanding how anxiety affects your body can help you recognize its signs early and take steps to calm your system before it spirals out of control. 6. Coping strategies for anxiety. Now that we've explored what anxiety is and how it affects us, let's talk about how to manage it. While there's no one-size-fits-all solution, there are several strategies that can help reduce anxiety's impact on your life. 1. Breathing exercises. Deep breathing techniques can help calm the nervous system and slow down the body's stress response. Try inhaling deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, and then exhaling slowly for 4 seconds. This simple exercise can make a big difference. 2. Mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. By focusing on your breath, sensations, or surroundings, you can reduce anxious thoughts. Meditation takes this a step further by training your mind to stay calm and focused. 3. Exercise. Physical activity is a powerful way to reduce anxiety. Exercise releases endorphins, the brain's natural mood boosters. Even a 20-minute walk can make a difference. 4. Journaling. Writing down your worries can help get them out of your head and onto paper, making them feel less overwhelming. You can also keep track of your anxiety triggers and learn to recognize patterns over time. 5. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT is a type of therapy that helps you identify and change negative thought patterns that contribute to anxiety. While you can see a therapist for CBT, there are also books and online resources that can teach you the basics. 7. The importance of seeking help. While self-care strategies can be very helpful, sometimes anxiety requires professional support. If you find that anxiety is interfering with your daily life, making it hard to work, study, or maintain relationships, it might be time to seek help from a therapist, counselor, or doctor. Therapists can provide personalized strategies and coping tools, while doctors can recommend medication if needed. There's no shame in seeking help. In fact, it's one of the bravest steps you can take toward managing your mental health. 8. Understanding anxiety is the first step. Anxiety disorders might feel overwhelming, but understanding the science behind them can be the first step toward taking control. Your brain, body, and emotions are all connected, and with the right tools, you can learn to manage anxiety rather than let it control you. Remember, anxiety isn't something to be ashamed of. It's part of being human. And with knowledge, support, and self-care, you can navigate through it to find peace on the other side.